It's a place with some of the world's finest winds, coveted for their clean, invisible energy. A place where people want to go green, but they just can't agree on how to get there. I'm here on the remote back roads of Guysborough County where the potholes are plentiful to find out why a plan to construct what has been described as the largest onshore wind farm in the Western Hemisphere may not end up making Nova Scotia as green as you might think. That's because that wind will be used to make green hydrogen that will be shipped to Germany, leading some to ask the question, should this province be greening the globe or greening Canada first? Karen McNulty lives in tiny Port Shoreham. It's in this northeastern corner of the province that Everwind Fuels wants to erect up to 400 turbines in this county, doubling the number already in all of Nova Scotia. Some of those turbines could be about 2 kilometers from McNulty's house.
It's like a freight train. We've got a lot of the federal government and the federal and provincial government just pushing this through.
Everwind will use the wind to power a green hydrogen production facility, a massive $8 billion undertaking. It's not that McNulty and others are against wind energy. It's the scale of the project that troubles them, and the fact that the wind power will not be primarily used to help green Nova Scotia's grid or help Canada meet its own climate targets.
Green Nova Scotia first, there's no ifs, buts, or maybes about that. It's our resource.
And we need some big projects and some big solutions to climate change.
But Brendan Chard, Vice President of Power at Everwind, promises jobs and tax revenue.
Well, this is really a transformational opportunity. We have a tremendous wind regime here. We can be global leaders in green hydrogen and ammonia production. And the benefits that will bring to our First Nations partners, to local communities where we're operating, to the province, the economic opportunity is immense.
Why not green Nova Scotia first?
Well, we don't see it as an either-or situation. We can do both. It's one planet with one climate. And whether we're offsetting carbon emissions in Nova Scotia or Germany or Japan or anywhere around the globe, it's helping to fight climate change. Now, that said, we're creating a product that will have uses here in Nova Scotia. And we really want to see as much of our product used here in Atlantic Canada as possible. And that could be through a peaking fuel used by the utilities to produce electricity when there isn't wind or solar available.
So there could be some backup use of the company's wind energy. And as for green hydrogen, no one uses it here now. But that doesn't trouble landowner Wayne Simpson, who would like to lease his land to Everwind.
We as a society tend not to look into the future. We're looking at right now and what it's going to do for me, and to heck with everything else. And that's never been my way. And if we're even a small part of it, it's a help. And if it's helping the world, it's helping us.
Well, we have a limited amount of land. We're the second smallest province in the country.
Raymond Plord of the Ecology Action Centre argues Nova Scotia needs to look at the most efficient use of the wind.
The efficiency rates when you use wind directly into your energy grid is very high, in the neighborhood of 80 to 90% efficient, meaning the wind generated and the electrons produced go to the grid and are usable. Green hydrogen, at best, is going to be 50% efficient, meaning you get a 50% loss immediately, and it provides no benefit to Nova Scotia's grid and reducing our reliance on fossil fuels. And the highest and best use, and experts around the world agree with this, is to use wind energy locally.
The province says it has its own plan to green the Nova Scotia grid, and it believes there's more than enough wind left to do it. Besides, it says it needs companies like Everwind to jumpstart a new era in energy here.
So by building these projects, especially with long-term contracts with European entities, we're able to develop this industry and have that product available at a lower cost for local uses as the demand increases.
I don't remember where the public consultation was on that. I don't know where Nova Scotians were asked, is this okay? Is this a good thing?
Whose wind is it?
Well, it's a great question. We see it as it's Nova Scotia's wind. But it's also, again, one climate.
It matters because the war in Ukraine has Europe looking at its energy security, and Canada could be a big source for them. Already, there are now 3 international companies preparing to build large wind farms in Nova Scotia. And Jonathan Wilkinson, the Federal Minister of Energy and Natural Resources, says get ready for more of it.
That resource exists out there right now, but nobody's monetizing that. Nobody has a way in which to actually make use of it. But those that are actually thoughtful about how do you actually extract value from it are going to be winners from an economic perspective.
All of this has Karen McNulty rethinking her life. You're thinking about maybe not being here if they come?
If there's 274 plus 400 and some, plus some up to, I may just not. But then again, if you sell your property at this point, where do you go? Where can you afford to go?
For all the uncertainty, it appears this much is true. When it comes to this province's energy future, there's big change in the wind.